What's up guys, EB Tech here, but we are finally doing the video that many of you have requested that have subscribed to my channel. The GTX 980M benchmark video.
Yeah, boy!
I'm sorry it took so long, but I've never benchmarked a graphics card and it took a little bit to figure out what I was doing. So, sorry, I'm a noob. I must say thank you to those who have subscribed to this channel. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you're enjoying the content. For those of you who are new, consider maybe subscribing if that's something that you're into. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now before we begin talking about numbers, we have to remember what the specs are of this laptop, because many components overall affect benchmarks, as we know. So to refresh your memory, so the review is being conducted with this behemoth, my pride and my joy, the Alienware 17R3. And this is my beloved laptop. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Now if you have not seen my review of this laptop, I will link it up here. You can check that out if you are interested in this laptop after this video. Now the specs on this are a 4K screen, which all our benchmarks were actually done in 1080p because this isn't really powerful enough for that, unfortunately. It is, but it's not. I'll explain later. It has a Core i7-6700 HQ with a speed of 2.6 GHz and can turbo up to 3.5 GHz. It has 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, and it also has many ways of doing storage on this laptop, which I talked about in the video that I did about this laptop. I'll actually leave that in the description too, just in case. And of course, the nitty gritty, it has the GTX 980M 4 GB of VRAM. That's actually plenty of frame buffer for almost every game. So you're pretty much not going to be running into any kind of bottlenecks as far as VRAM goes, in most cases. And also this is running Windows 10. So I'm going to put this down before I pop a blood vessel, because yeah, it's heavy. Now we also have to talk methodology. Yes, methodology. My method for benchmarking this computer. I ran a couple games as well as a benchmark, which I believe was Unigen Heaven. When I was testing these games, I let everything run for up to 15 minutes to let any kind of throttling that was going to happen, let everything get up to temperature, let everything equalize, and then I actually began benchmarking and trying to collect all these numbers and data. Now when I was collecting data, I actually ran the benchmark several times, and then I knocked out any outliers, so something that was just extremely high and something that was extremely low, and every number I got had at least 3 results that was within about 5 to 10 max FPS away from each other. Sometimes the frequency will kind of jump around and create just weird stuff. Believe me, I spent almost 2 days making sure these benchmarks were correct. So now I can technically say, yes, this laptop performed very well, it did this, this. We're just gonna let the numbers speak for themselves. So, without further ado, benchmarking song. No, that was completely wrong. I am so sorry. Well, let's hit the other one. Okay people, there you have it. Actual real world numbers that I could never find on this laptop when I was trying to go get it. I really hope this helped somebody. So now let's talk about these numbers for a second. Some people are not familiar with 1% and 0.1% lows when it comes to benchmarking. What this basically means is instead of taking the maximum and the minimum, which is honestly somewhat kind of useless, we have your average, which is what we pretty much are supposed to pay attention to. You have your 1%, which is the lowest 1% of the frames, and then out of that 1%, you have the 0.1% of the lowest of those frames. And this is actually giving you a representation of how low these frames can go and how low they will be. Now, I'm actually impressed with this laptop because when you start getting very low 0.1% frames, that's when you see stuttering in the game. And I hardly see any stutter in any of my benchmarks, and these results also show it. There was hardly any stutter. If it did dip, it only dipped a little bit, and it was, I mean, this thing was smooth. I loved it. And also, I did include the temps in this benchmark, and I can honestly say the reason this laptop is so thick is because of all these daggum heating vents here. And these heating vents did exactly what they're supposed to do. They kept the CPU cool. The highest I've ever seen the CPU reach was 65 degrees Celsius, and that was at the highest point I've ever seen the GPU get. Now the CPU I've seen get up to more like 75 degrees Celsius, but for a laptop that is still just excellent. I love it. This is why I have this laptop, and this is why I will never give it up until somebody gives me like a GTX 1080 version. Even then, I'll probably still have this as a backup. Always. So yes, this laptop is fully just a beast. I mean, honestly, I've done video production on this. I've actually thought about doing a video on this. If you actually want to see this laptop do video production and let me see how it compares against a full-fledged desktop, and if you want to see that video, leave a comment, drop a like, and I might try to oblige you. Who knows? I probably will do it anyway for the sake of me, just because I'm kind of curious. So yeah, that's it guys. I really hope this helped a couple people. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.